You're listening to Honey, We Made a Disney Podcast. Two friends since it was Miller time, Reggie Miller time. Now dads reliving the Disney movies we grew up on with our own kids. I'm Eddie Ferguson.
And I'm JB Waggoner. And on today's episode, hey now, this is what dreams are made of. As we review the Lizzie McGuire movie. But before that, yes, Eddie, before we get into the craziness of that film, Eddie, how are you and the family doing this post-holiday time?
We are well. We had rounds of sickness, as most everybody did this holiday season.
Yep.
And we are recovering, mostly recovered. But we had a huge milestone in our family. We introduced Lewis to Star Wars.
Yes. How? Give me the play-by-play.
It's funny that people even ask. To me, it's a no-brainer. You start with A New Hope, then Empire Strikes Back, then Return of the Jedi. Being asked the question, it just automatically tells me you're not a Star Wars fan. Like the fact that some people have to ask that, it's like, well, no, okay, that's all I need to know about you. It was a huge hit. We waited until my sister and her family were here, all the cousins, so there's all the excitement surrounding it. We've been talking about it for months. Plus, for Christmas, somebody bought him a Boba Fett costume.
That was adorable.
And my sister bought him 2 lightsabers and
so you can fight with them.
Right, a blue and a green. And they connect. You can put them together. And what else? I mean, we got a lot of Star Wars stuff. He got this really cool Star Wars like search and find book, where it's like a scene, it's like Tatooine, and you got to find this droid or whatever. He loves like the Where's Waldo search and find types books. So she buys him that. So it's been epic. We've been watching, we've watched all 3 now. We finished them all before they left. And we've been playing lightsabers nonstop. We got to peel him out of his Boba Fett costume. But today was very interesting. It kind of bad, but also like, okay, and bad in the sense that he corrected my wife, Sarah.
Whoa.
Which, okay, we don't do that. We don't correct mommy. However, he correctly corrected his mother's false understanding of something about Star Wars.
What was it?
Well, he had opened up a page of his Seek and Find to the Geonosis arena. And she said, oh, look, those are the bad guys, the stormtroopers. And he said, oh, no, mommy, those guys are actually good guys. And she's like, no, those are the stormtroopers. Those are bad guys. Don't. And I said, and I'm sitting right there and I'm like, I'm like so proud right now because he's right, because those are the clone troopers. They're not the bad guys yet. They're actually on the good side at this moment. She's like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, so I looked at him. I'm like, how did you know this?
That's not in episodes.
We haven't watched
4,
those
5,
movies
6,
yet. Yeah, we haven't watched those movies yet. And he said, well, I called them stormtroopers, and my cousin Eli corrected me.
Oh, so he got cousin knowledge.
He got cousin knowledge there. So
that is a proud moment, Eddie. I'm so proud of you.
Star Wars is being fully breathed in and accepted in the youngling Ferguson. So we're very happy about that. But enough about me and all of this. We've got a few other things to cover. Disney news or just kind of new releases, things that have come out. I'm going to switch things around here a little bit. I want to lead off with the hot one. I want to lead off with the big drop on Disney Plus that you were just fast to get on. I mean, on it. Like a fat boy on a cupcake. You were on this right away.
It hits close to home, but thank you.
Idina Menzel, Which Way to the Stage. How was it? I know you were so excited for this to release. You asked, can we review this for the show? I said, okay, if you want to. I'm not going to watch it, but I'm going to let you watch it.
Well, if listeners go back and listen to our podcast from several weeks ago, they will hear Eddie making a comment like, oh, we need to review that when it comes out. I believe we either did it on the podcast or offline talking about it.
Pure sarcasm. And I would,
it must have been text message.
I would assume after 30 years of knowing each other, you would know my sarcasm, especially when it comes to a documentary about Idina Menzel. There's no chance I would seriously suggest we review that.
So we normally have ESPN together. We know what each other are thinking, but the channel got switched for a moment.
Well, I'm going to say this is when some of the sickness came into the Waggoner household.
Probably.
And we'll just say it's the fault of the sickness.
Let's blame it on that, because I thought Eddie was serious. So I sat down and I asked my wife, do you want to watch this with me? And she was like, absolutely not. So I'm watching it by myself. She leaves. She goes into another room.
Story to me.
She goes in another room. She's like, I want to have no part of this. And the last thing that we've seen of Idina, first name basis after this, was the Frozen series, Frozen 2, making a Frozen 2.
Yeah, like Idina as Idina, not like playing a character
as herself. Yeah.
And mind you, folks, we frequently will bring up, there's a moment in that documentary, the Into the Unknown, the making, which is fantastic. It's phenomenal. But there's a moment where Idina Menzel goes and visits the animators working on Elsa. That is so cringy. I mean, it is like so awkward, where you wonder, is she a real human being or a robot in this moment? I'm not sure. And so we bring this up in jest and joke all the time, like, oh, wow, that was as cringy of an interaction as Idina Menzel with an animator. So that was the basis I'm working off of when I, in pure sarcasm, say, oh, yeah, we ought to review this. Mind you.
So, yes. So that's where we were. And I sat down to do the Lord's work, watching this thing.
For the children.
So let me just tell you, Eddie. It is both exactly what you expect, and a few times where you kind of feel like, oh, I kind of feel bad for her a little bit. It's all leading up to her doing a concert in New York City at Madison Square.
Yeah.
It's all leading up to that. She says it 30 times throughout the entire thing.
50% of artist documentaries, I'm making that statistic up, 50% are like my big concert at Madison Square Garden. It's always Madison Square Garden.
Yep. So that's what it is. And I asked my wife for, we'll get to that later. But I watched the entire thing. I did not turn it off.
Wow.
I had other things maybe going on at the same time. But her entire journey to get to that point, she also decides in the middle of all of this that, mind you, she is 48, I believe. This is 2019 when they filmed this. So, or 2018, 2019. She's 47, 48 when she's filming this. She decides with her new husband that she's going to try to have a baby at 48. And they're doing steroid injections. So she's going injections, go on the road somewhere else, injection, come back. What's the ovulation stuff going? It's all craziness. I'm like, this shouldn't even be medically possible.
And they're documenting
that while it's going on. They have her life on the road and stuff like that. You see a lot of her son, which is adorable, of course. And you get some of the background. That was probably the most interesting piece of this, is I didn't know all of the other stuff she had been in and how she
so talented and very incredible. Like her, yeah.
Hit it big with Wicked, but previous to that was Rent. Rent,
yeah,
a lull, her lull with before Rent, getting Rent. There was like 7 years of like nothing in between that. Then 7 more years, and then she gets to do what we all know her for now, which was Frozen, which like sent her into another stratosphere. The probably one of the best parts of this though was that the whole buildup is to come to Madison Square Garden to do this big concert. First time ever. It's going to be big, and they're going to show her doing it, and you see her along the way in different stuff. But the reveal, not the reveal, it's not late, it's early on. But the reveal for you, Eddie, is that this concert she was doing, she is not the headliner. Josh Groban, it's his tour. She is the opening act for this tour, for this documentary of her getting to Madison Square Garden, and it's not even her tour. It's Josh Groban's tour.
I find that hilarious, and then also like I'm heartbroken for her. Like,
I know,
it's
right?
Sad at the same time. Like, I have no idea what to feel at this moment. I had no idea.
The whole time she's like emotional, thinking about doing this concert and building up to it. And the whole time I'm going, but this isn't even your tour. You are riding with on someone else's tour bus to get there to your dream moment. And she's doing all the sometimes diva stuff, sometimes like emotional stuff. I'm like, this isn't even your tour. Spoiler alert. She gets there, does it. And she's like between songs going, I can't believe I'm here right now. I'm just so excited to be here at Madison Square Garden. I'm like, man, this isn't your tour. These people aren't primarily here for you. They're for Josh Groban. And we see him there like once walking past a hallway. He's not even really in the documentary. But I just want to give you that little nugget. That was the best nugget of this entire thing.
I have no idea what to feel in this moment. Like I genuinely feel bad for her. I know,
right? This I don't know that I liked her more because of this documentary. I felt more grace for her than I did leaving the other documentary. But the big piece of it that left me thinking was they shot this documentary before she did before all the stuff with Into the Unknown. So it's like that tour ends in November. They then pick up the Frozen 2 storyline in January, February, March of 2019. That's
okay. So this is 18. Yeah.
They shoot this in 8, but then I'm just sitting there thinking, okay,
because Frozen 2 came out in November of 19.
Yep. And they shelved this thing because this thing just came out. It's been sitting there for a long time. Like this documentary. Why do you sit on this? I'm not sure. But maybe I wonder.
Maybe they're thinking Frozen 2 will push her even more popular,
But I also wonder if maybe they're like, you know what, this doesn't have the appeal that we thought it did. Maybe she's mad about the fact that they haven't done anything with this documentary, or they're negotiating. Maybe that's why she was so weird in the Frozen 2 doc. It's like there's some backstory now that we didn't know before.
Something's going on.
Obviously, the baby thing never happened because we don't have any record of her having that child. She's going through treatments and stuff like that.
Oh, that's
I just feel like I have a little bit more grace for her, even though she still is very much a robot in that. But I also wondered if they felt that they did her wrong with the Frozen 2 documentary and said, you know what, we probably should go ahead and make the other one. Let's go ahead and finish it for her just to make her feel better. I don't know. But it was weird. It was just like, she's not the headliner. She's having this big emotional moment. It's awkward all around. It's not where Eddie, don't go see this. I know you're dying to go see it now that you're so intrigued by it, but you don't need to see it. I've told you everything you need to know. But it's just historical. It's her on the road, her with her family. It's fine. It's okay. It's fine. It's a step up from the other stuff. But now you know. Now you know Idina Menzel which way to the stage.
Which is crazy because, I mean, don't get us wrong here. Like, she is an incredible talent, like hands down. It's just that's really heartbreaking. I kind of almost feel bad for laughing so hard at the outset of all of this.
I know, right? But there you go. That's my opportunity to make you feel bad about making me feel dumb for watching it.
Spin the emotion around on me. I love it.
Yep.
Well, here's something that I think we can all agree was just full of fun and good emotions, and that is Encanto live at the Hollywood Bowl. We'd been looking forward to this. I think you got to it just a little bit before us.
I thought you'd already watched it. That's why I was like, hey, we're finally watching it now. And you're like, we haven't watched this yet.
No, everything's coming out like a week or two late here on like Latin American Disney Plus. Like we still haven't gotten, what was the one thing? If the Walls Could Sing. I think you guys already have that on Disney.
We have it. I just haven't watched it.
Yeah, so it doesn't even release here until another week or two. And I'm really excited about that documentary. So yeah, for whatever reason, we didn't get access to this until I think a little bit later, but it is fantastic. We were already big fans of Coco, like the music of Coco at the Hollywood Bowl, but this is totally different. Coco, most of the, a lot of the cast members from the movie didn't make an appearance in that.
They had a lot of the Spanish people.
Yeah, they had a lot of Spanish people. And they also did like shortened versions or, not the full on version. This, like just the theatrical production of this is phenomenal. Like rivalry of a hot Broadway stage production. From the projection mapping to the costumes to the puppetry. The floor being alive, like a screen and the casita and moving around.
And they had some CGI stuff too, like obviously in post, like all the CGI butterflies and stuff that are coming through the sky.
And in a way that just kind of like highlighted it, right? Like it didn't feel like, okay, stop. It was just kind of like, oh, that's a fun little flourish. That was really cool. Then they get the whole cast back. This is the cast from the movie.
Minus the actor who played Bruno.
Yes. But this was fantastic. I loved the interludes where, they played little clips from the movie and kind of like told the story. But of course, we're just kind of focusing in on the songs and everything. I honestly got to the end of this and looked at Sarah and went, why is this not in a theme park? Like if there's not a Disney executive going, get that in Hollywood Studios or get that over at California Adventure. I don't know what they are thinking because this is phenomenal.
And they've done that with Frozen. Like they've taken the Frozen movie and adapted it into a play, into theater at Disneyland. At least they had at one point. It may or may not still be there.
They have it at Hollywood Studios still.
No, we loved it. My daughter has wanted to watch. We've watched it like 5 times with my daughter now. There's just, you're right. They didn't just, it's weird. They did it. The previous in Coco, they added a ton of extra stuff and truncated the music stuff. But then this, they did more like, hey, let's just do the songs again with set pieces behind them and the real actors. And I enjoyed that more. I know it didn't have, the one new piece though that they did add was those little kids. Weren't those little kids adorable? The choir. Yes. That was incredible.
And you had like, if we already didn't love Lin-Manuel Miranda enough, he's nice to the children. Now we love him even more. It was a great little interlude.
He's got a great kid voice. Having that moment. Like, kids want to pay attention to him.
He's a dad of what, 2 kids, so he knows what he's doing. He's a pro at this.
Yeah, that was a nice little surprise. It was something we came home to on Saturday and watched, and we're like, this is great. We love this. So
I had to laugh. So Hollywood Bowls in Hollywood, Southern California. Did you see like everybody in the audience is like super bundled up, like they're sitting through a blizzard to watch this thing? Like as a Midwesterner, I'm just like, oh, bless your hearts. You think it's cold.
Now I'm wondering when they actually shot this.
I'm assuming based off of that, it had to have been a tight turnaround from a post-production standpoint.
But that's still a lot of time. Like they got to do a lot of vocal things. I'm guessing it probably shot it a year ago.
No, because nobody was wearing masks.
Oh,
not a person. No one.
Now I'm more confused. I'm more confused than ever.
If that was 21 in California, somebody would have been wearing masks.
I think you're right, Eddie. Good.
Even like the kids,
sleuthing.
Even the kids in the choir room, all of that. Like when, yeah. I would guess this was probably October, November.
That would be really fast.
You lived in Southern California. When would it be chilly enough for people to bust out the parkas?
I don't know how often it is that chilly, even in the wintertime.
I mean, it's nighttime. It's an open air theater. I can understand it can get quite breezy enough. But I just assumed that they had a tight turnaround. They had to get this out at Christmas time. Like, this is what this, Encanto was the big.
Eddie, hold up. I got the answer. You are 100% correct. They filmed this November 11th.
Wow.
That is crazy turnaround. Insane turnaround for something like that.
6 weeks?
That is nuts. And there is one thing that I should have realized why. There was one piece of this that I did not like. And it was the punch-ins on the song that her sister sings when she's like, pressure.
Yes.
That song, when they do the tick, 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 and they do the little punch it, it's called depth cuts. You go tick, 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 and it gets tighter every time. Those were bad. Like, you're supposed to the editing technique, you're supposed to reframe them every time it punches in, so it kind of centers the person in the right spot. But they literally just went in tighter and it chopped off her head at one point. Like, wow, this is like really bad. This is like a rookie mistake. Why? That's what happens when they're doing like 6 seconds. And they probably did do it live, I bet. I wouldn't be surprised. Man, that's super fast. That's crazy.
Wow, a 6 weeks turnaround. Yeah, there you go. It's funny. You just articulated technically why that sequence felt weird to me, because I'm like, this just feels cheesy. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it's not something you see in a live performance. Normally, they let the live performance flow, but this is like a editing thing. Yeah.
Well, and there was a couple other things where they're doing some like camera shakes or whatnot, trying to heighten the emotion or the effects of it. But otherwise, this is fantastic. If you have the chance, kudos to Disney. I think they knew last Christmas Encanto was like the big family hit. We've got to keep chugging out the Encanto content. And this was the fastest and best way to do that. And it works. It's fantastic. It's so good. Like I said, I hope that this gets into one of the theme parks. I think it would be a welcome addition to anywhere. So
the final thing, Eddie, before we head up to our movie, what is one big thing you're excited about Disney content wise in 2023? Give us one, maybe two, if you feel so inclined.
I should. I've been thinking through this, and it's a hard one. I gotta say one. I'm not looking forward to it because I saw it with the Encanto Live was the first one. I love the new 100 Years of Disney intro.
Oh yeah, that's money. They did a great job with that.
Fantastic. And all the Easter eggs in that, like all the different like hidden references to all that different things. So yeah, that's not really the question there, but 2023 is the 100-year anniversary. I believe it's actually October 26th, 2023 will be the 100-year anniversary. And so with that, I maybe go out of the ordinary. They're releasing a new animated film called Wish that's based in around the wishing star, like telling the story of the wishing star.
Yeah.
That's about all I know of it, but just the basic concept of it is really intriguing to me. So yeah, I typically
More intriguing than Strange World.
Still haven't watched it. So
Neither have
I. And I would say another close second is probably Elemental, because I just love Pixar and I want to see Pixar. They've had a couple of, I was just talking about like Turning Red with my sister, and we were both like, what was that? We don't understand that. And so, yeah, I want to see that, see what that turns out to be.
For me, it's no surprise, but I'm just so excited for more Baby Yoda. Mandalorian season 3. I know you were saving that for me, letting me have tee that up for me. So excited for that, especially how their storyline left off, not just in season 2, but in the little 3 episode arc inside of Boba Fett. I can't get enough of Star Wars stuff. So having this in my life this year, starting in March 1st, it's gonna be a great beginning of the year.
So I left this out when I was talking about Lewis seeing Star Wars for the first time. When we finished A New Hope, that was the first thing he asked us. But where was Baby Yoda? Because he's seeing like, I've got my Baby Yoda puppet. Somebody bought him Baby Yoda PJs. Like it is so saturated in pop culture that my 4-year-old knows Star Wars Baby Yoda, and when he doesn't get it, and he was slightly disappointed with Yoda because of that. He was like, "That's not Baby Yoda." Like he knew that wasn't the same person of cuteness. So
he's going to be so jacked up for the rest of his life, where so many people know Yoda so well in advance that when they saw Baby Yoda, when they saw Grogu, they're like, "Oh, Baby Yoda." I don't care what you call him. It's Baby Yoda.
Right. So, yeah, I would be there with you as well. I would say that's the thing I'm most looking forward to from a Disney Plus standpoint.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I think 2023 will be the year that we start to see streaming attempt to write itself upright, try and go,
rein itself in,
rein it in, try and like, okay, what is this really like? What do audiences really want? And I think with that, I hope we see a stronger theatrical resurgence, because I've already gone and seen Avatar again, went with my brother-in-law and my cousin. Yeah. So I've seen Avatar 2 twice now, and it's cranking up the billions. We'll see. So between Maverick and Top Gun Maverick and Avatar, I think we're close to say like, yeah, like people just want to go out to the movies. Give us the spectacles. Give us the things. Give us a reason, and we'll go.
Well, reason is all we need now to continue on with what you came here for, which is as we cover all of the major Disney movies that released from 1987, 88, really, because nothing came out in 87, through 2005, aka our childhood. And today's one is one that I know I've got some team members back at my office that are so excited for. They've been so dying for this movie to come out, and we're mad that didn't release its episode sooner. But today's episode, we were watching the one that Eddie and I watched probably millions of times, being young men ourselves, and that is the Lizzie McGuire Movie.
Cue the Disney sound effect. I should have said, cue the Disney Channel sound effect. There's an incredible documentary on YouTube. There's a guy, Defunct Land is the name of the channel. that he does these long form documentaries on the most obscure Disney things. And he does one on who came up with the 4-tone Disney Channel sound, like who invented that.
I'd be into that.
It's fascinating. It's such a fascinating documentary.
I'll go watch that once we're done here. But first, IMDb. Lizzie McGuire has graduated from middle school and takes a trip to Rome, Italy with her class. And what was supposed to be only a normal trip becomes a teenager's dream come true. 2 sentences. They broke the rule. Didn't need 2 sentences. That's upsetting to me. But anyways, Eddie, had you seen this beforehand?
I had never seen this in its entirety. I have seen this in segments here and there a couple of times. Enough that I knew kind of the basic storyline. But I would say that this was my first time to sit down, watch it top to bottom.
How about the Lizzie McGuire show?
I was very familiar with the Lizzie McGuire show. I wouldn't say that it was one of my favorite Disney Channel shows. I also was not the target audience for that show, so I'm okay with this.
Was this on once? This wasn't on one Saturday morning ever, right? This was just.
I wouldn't be surprised. There was a few times where on one Saturday morning they would pull something off of Disney Channel and put it there on ABC.
Because I remember watching more of it than my non-cable self would have had access to. So that's kind of why I wondered, but it could have just been over at a friend's house or over at my grandparents' house watching it sometime. I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, the TV series premiered January of 2001, ran until February of 2004. And the movie was released in, I think, the summer of 2003. Yes.
Gotcha.
May of 2003. So that gives you kind of the time frame of all of that.
Yeah. No, I remember this film because my sister watched it. And so we had watched it several times. So I remember them going to Rome. I remember them all of the major storylines from it. Had forgotten, but then the moment I saw it, I was like, oh, I remember this guy does this or whatever. And had good memories of it when I was a kid, like watching it when it came out. But what did you think of it, Eddie, getting your first full taste of it this time? Inspired by the method acting you saw and twin separated at birth people and stuff.
I have to say, like, I enjoyed some of the like early 2000 tropes. Mm-hmm. You've got the, Miss Ungermeyer, the school chaperone, is such a I don't even know how to describe it. Just like a perfect character for this movie, just kind of propels the tension along really well. And I thought the actress, nothing like outstanding, but it's just like, okay, there we go. There's that. There's the mean girl who turns good. There's the pretty boy jock who actually turns out to be, somewhat like wholehearted in the end. We get the Gordo stuff, the younger brother. And I mean, all of that you get throughout the series as well. I mean, this, in an essence, those interactions are great. I mean, it's why Lizzie McGuire was such a great TV show for at the time, such a huge hit, well remembered amongst millennials, is because it just encapsulated what life in middle school is really like, and all of your different tropes and your characters within all of that. The only thing that this doesn't encapsulate about the TV series is it just leaves out completely a main character in one quick little line of exposition. Like, oh yeah, she's not, Miranda's not here because she's took a trip to Mexico City, you know, and you're just like,
oh, they wrote out a main character.
Wrote her out like in a blink of an eye. It's because, I mean, the TV series is like these three friends. It's Lizzie McGuire, her girlfriend, and her good guy friend. And like, this is what, you know, it's Miranda, Gordo, and
now
Lizzie.
I'm wondering what happened to that actress. Like, did she?
Me too.
want
Like,
more
I did
money?
some digging
she not?
around and stuff, and I couldn't find a reason like why she didn't appear in this.
They needed room for Gordo to shine.
Apparently. And yeah, like they just like swept her off super fast. Like faster than Mia Thermopolis's boyfriend in Princess Diaries 2. She's like, whoop, let's get rid of that one really fast.
Well, you brought up Mrs. Ungermeyer, and I'm going to say that she was probably my favorite person.
Oh yeah,
on this movie.
Agreed. She had me, if I can interject. She had me at the extension of the American flag to be the guide.
That was a great
moment.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yep, I'm in. I'm good. I'm tracking with her."
So the actress Alex Borstein plays Mrs. Ungermeyer. She is also the manager in The Fabulous Mrs. Menzel, which is a great show. Lots of intriguing stuff in that. But she plays a very similar type of energy, of like intense energy, but in a different way. And she also steals a lot of scenes in that show as well. But man, she definitely is one of my favorite not moments, but anytime she's on camera, basically she grabs your attention and opening up with attention parents, shut your pie holes. Just when she's having the conversation she meets Paolo, she's like, who are you? And she says, Paolo Bellatari. And she's like, put your money in your front pockets. And then when she's hitting on the bodyguard, she's like, you want a piece of that? You want a piece of the Ungermeyer? Oh man. She's just like, she's what you want in these throwback movies. Like, yes. You know, the storyline is going to be, you already know what's going to happen. You already can like feel it all coming. You can already feel it all coming before it happens. All the lines. Paolo, the most one-dimensional character you've ever seen.
Ever.
Yeah. So you need like off the wall weird character actors that will just do what they do well and just make you love them as much as you hate them. You don't hate her as much as you do. Like, we were just watching Harry Potter recently, and from Order of the Phoenix, I miss it, Professor Umbridge, Dolores Umbridge. Like, you genuinely want her to be gone. Like, you're like, I cannot stand this woman. This is more like she's annoying but lovable all at the same time. And how much she's like, you're trying to brown nose me, you're trying to do all this, all of that kind of stuff. I love her. Like, she just decides that Gordo is he's got a hidden agenda, sneaky little brown noser. Like, you just love her for that.
Well, and I think so. Again, it is a trope that you see a mile away. The whole like, oh, I'm sick, I can't go out. Oh, but is the chaperone suspicious? Like, all of those things we've seen a million times. But this actress, Alex Borstein, takes it to a whole nother level that makes something that should not be interesting to us very much interesting. And like, I keep coming back because I want to see those little one-liners. I'm glad that you brought up the whole put your money in the front pockets, because I lost it when she threw out that line. And I want to know, was that in the script, or is this an actress just firing them off as she feels them? But yeah.
So I would say I loved her.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the rest of this film was just passable. I'm sorry for all of the people out there that have super fond memories of this, and this is really high up on the totem pole, but especially because I feel like we just recently did Princess Diaries, and we saw two amazing actresses going toe for toe in so many scenes. The other thing that they did so well in Princess Diaries that they skipped over in this was they tried to make Lizzie McGuire not the popular kid while doing nothing to her character, her like her appearance or anything to result in someone like people picking on her and making fun of her because she doesn't look like they did so much to Anne Hathaway to make her feel, look, sound like the side like the girl that is obviously not the cool kid.
I'll push back on you on that one a little bit because
okay, sorry.
She's not the popular girl. She was never in this series. And what's endearing about Lizzie McGuire and the whole purpose of the animated Lizzie McGuire is they're trying to communicate that insecure angst of a early teen, a tween girl, of like, I say one thing, but I feel and think the complete opposite within my head. And like the beauty of the Lizzie McGuire character, and there's a couple of YouTube videos out there that are really good of the show.
The
did a good job.
psychology of Lizzie McGuire.
No, it was like, it tackled really, really well. It tackled very difficult conversations and things that happen, particularly for a tween girl, in a way that was accessible, right? And all because you have this mechanism in place of the live action Lizzie, Hilary Duff, playing out how we see most tween girls. And then you have the animated version playing out what's really going on in a tween girl's head. And I think that in particular, where, we're two guys, there's a lot here that's not relatable to us. But I think most millennial women who grew up with this character resonate deeply with her and love her. And it's mainly because of that. She wasn't the most popular. She also wasn't the most obscure or unpopular girl at school. She's just average. She's just kind of there in the middle. And I think that's why there was such broad appeal and an appreciation for her. All that being said, yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that this is anywhere near a top of list for me. But it does reveal okay, I can put myself a little bit in those shoes and go, I can see why people deeply connect with this character.
So I will second you on that the animated character did a lot more. I think I kept them separated for some reason in my head, like Lizzie McGuire, human, Hilary Duff, and the animated character, even though I know that's supposed to be your inner monologue. For some odd reason, there was a disconnect for me in the two of them coming together, and I was more engaged. I was more engaged with the animated character than I was with Hilary Duff's performance of her. I get like what she would then go and act it out with, and the two never really kind of come. They never the one doesn't become the other. I guess I don't know how to really put that. There's never a crossing point where she speaks her truth or whatever you want to say. I'm going to fully speak out what this is. But you're right. These are the junior high girls that are in Rome and let to just roam wherever they want to. And you can obviously tell that Taken, the series, was made after this, because there's no way they could have made this since Taken came out.
So this is how my brain works. I'm watching the beginning of this movie going, what? There's no way that an eighth grader, a recently graduated eighth grader, we'll give you that, but
ninth grade, yeah,
is going alone. Without parents, with one chaperone, mind you, one chaperone.
Eddie does a lot of trips, so you guys know. Does a lot of coordinating international trips, and there's no one is minimal. That's not nearly enough.
So what is the rule? 10,000 hours makes you an expert on something. I've easily got 20 to 30 hours on how to run a... Yes, 10,000 hours.
10,000 hours, and I've done at least 5 of them.
Sorry. 10,000 hours makes you an expert. I've easily done 20 to 30,000 hours. No, I'm looking at this going from a logistics standpoint. No way does this occur. There's just no way. And I was feeling it a bit in Spider-Man Far From Home, where I'm going, okay, is this maybe they're older? They're kind of, once you get over 16, there's certain restrictions and regulations that are a little bit easier. They got 2 chaperones, so okay. But this one chaperone, they're 13. So many things. Yeah, I am on the State Department website going, how is this plausible?
I love this.
I'm literally looking up the documents. Okay, so it is plausible because they're in Europe. They're not in other certain countries. So her parents would have had to sign this form and this form. The chaperone would have needed to have this.
This is amazing.
Everything. Okay, what forms needed to be notarized? Like I'm like researching the living daylights out of this going, it is plausible, but is it probable? I doubt it. I really, really doubt it. And you're definitely not flying a 13-year-old boy back on his own.
Yeah, 100% no.
And mind you, this movie takes place in 2003. What just happened 18 months prior?
9/11.
Yeah. No. Not happening whatsoever. So, anywho, that's just my weird Eddie rant and all of those things. Your correlation to Princess Diaries, I think, is very accurate. I felt like this was, okay, let's make a Princess Diaries Parent Trap-esque movie.
Yeah.
I felt a little bit of Parent Trap, not just even with the whole twin thing, but there was a couple other little elements there, Princess Diaries, all of that kind of coming in together where I'm going, I think if this was a DCOM, for those of you who don't know the lingo, that's Disney Channel original movie. If this was a DCOM, I think this would go down as like one of the best DCOMs ever. But as a theatrical release movie, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to have to go with High School Musical 3 Senior Year as better. Shots fired, I know.
That is shots fired for sure. Although I did love all of those.
I think I don't know if we will get to touch those.
It made 55 million at the box office. Not amazing by any stretch of the imagination. Only $12 million internationally. So this did not have a very good international appeal, even with the Rome and the love interest and all of that kind of stuff. Maybe it's because they were making fun of slightly Italian people the entire time. But
yeah, just a little bit.
It did make me hungry for pasta, though. I did really want pasta after all of this.
Some spaghetti.
Yeah.
Well,
can we talk about this also as well? So we didn't really talk much about Gordo, but his confession, put that in air quotes, his confession at the end wasn't that great. The whole, like, she's expecting, there's something going on, but then Lizzie is suddenly absent. We can't find her, and he's trying to block her from going up the room, and it's like, I'm the one that's been sneaking out. Well, then why are you blocking her from going up the stairs? Like, there's a huge, massive, those two things are not like synonymous. It's like, well, he's trying to leave. That's why you can't go see Lizzie. I don't understand what's going on here. Like, that was just not great. I'm just saying, like, that confession part. And then he just kind of took it and left, but then he comes back. Like, there wasn't enough, like, I can't, like, it never seemed like he was that mad at her for doing all of this. And if he really was really, like, in love with her or whatever, wouldn't there have been, like, a stronger, like, at least in Princess Diaries, he was like, I'm done with you for a second. Like, there was at least a little bit, and she had to, like, win him back. There wasn't, I was expecting more of that. I don't know. This is just me kind of verbalizing.
But isn't that the difference between a 13-year-old and an 18-year-old? Like, a 13-year-old doesn't know what they're feeling in that moment. They're feeling something, but they don't know what it is. So they don't know how to articulate it. Maybe but an 18-year-old, watch out. I know exactly what I'm feeling and why, and you're gonna feel my wrath.
You're probably right, Eddie. I probably am thinking too seriously about this film, like I do all films, I take it way too seriously. May have been a title of a podcast we used to have a long time ago.
Well, also, I love that you keep referring to this as a film. Let's just call it a movie. Let's just keep it as a movie.
You don't want to have that name associated with this.
I think it just puts too much expectation.
What if I call this a cinema?
A cinematic experience.
Cinematic experience. No, I'm just saying, like, but did you feel that too? It was like,
yes,
it was weak.
There were so many moments with Gordo's character. I'm like, beef that up a bit. Nope. Take it a little bit more. Like, just do a little bit more. Do a little bit more with that. Because in essence, I love the dynamic that was being built there. It's like, okay, this is a great storyline. There's a lot of potential there, but you're not using it to its full advantage.
No, we've seen the whole someone covering for somebody else. And even like the whole bed, the pillows in the bed, and she never checks the bed. Like, yeah, she could have tried a little. I was expecting a little bit more from Ungermeyer in that moment too. Like,
well, and even I felt like the turn of the mean girl to, okay, I'll cover for you. Like that just boom happened.
Yeah, that was instantaneous.
That didn't feel earned. Then the whole weird rationale for the parents and the brother to just fly to Europe on a whim.
Yeah.
We just miss her, so we just want to see her.
I did like the younger.
Feel earned.
I did like the younger brothers. The girl who was like the mastermind behind all of it. She was fun. She was like, I forget. Was she in the original show?
Yeah.
She was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
And this is what's great about this movie is besides Miranda, we don't know where they marooned her, but they give you such good references back to the series. All of those characters, except for Mrs. Ungermeyer, all the major characters appear in the series, which is good. That's what you want in a movie like this. You want to. Or pardon me, in a film like this,
cinema,
you want some good references back to the source material.
Any other outstanding things that we didn't talk about, other than the mom and daughter turnaround at TSA? They just know they need to give each other one last hug goodbye.
That was a touching moment. It was good to remember the joys of tween pop from the early 2000s.
Yes.
I mean, all throughout this, not even just her song there at the end, which is so classic.
Yes, I can't believe I almost got to the end without talking about the song, because Mrs. Ungermeyer was obviously my favorite character in this. And I'm sorry, is that song is still so freaking catchy. This is what dreams are made of. I've got somewhere I belong. I've got somebody to love. It's like right up there with all the High School Musical songs. Like, it's so catchy. And then when they go and do the performance, and then they go the like club Euro trap like version of it to do over and over again, it's great. It's amazing. I love it. This is all the trashy pop music that you want to love, that you love. This is that song. The rest of the songs throughout were fine, whatever, but this is stuck in my head for a long time. It's still stuck in my head now, several days later.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if the writer of that has like gone on to do anything else. Like, he's definitely got quite a few nominations and well known, but yeah, I mean, one of the writers on all of that did a lot of work on Mulan.
Okay.
But nothing like, yeah, because you're right. It's an earworm. Like, it gets stuck in there. I wouldn't say like in a good way. You're like, hey, I'm gonna like, I want to be singing along to this.
No, it's like all the other trashy music. You're like, I hate that I love this.
Like, get your head in the game. We're all in this together.
All of that. All High School, anything that High School Musical. This could have fit right inside of there. It could have been right in there.
Yeah, it's kind of your like guilty pleasure music where it's like, this is fun. Like, I kind of just enjoy this a little bit, but I know that I shouldn't.
I shouldn't love this, but I do. Yeah.
It's the second bowl of ice cream. I know that I shouldn't, but it tastes so good. Just, anybody who says you can have too much of a good thing, can you now? I don't know. Yes, the music, the fun. I just wanted to mention that I enjoyed that trip down memory lane.
So Eddie, how good was this good thing for you? What would you rate this on our gummy worm or on our fruit snack rating?
Fruit snack rating
out of 5.
Well, I have to go back to something we say often. Rewatchability is a huge factor here. And so with that, I don't foresee myself going back and rewatching this. I don't know. So I'm going to give this a 1.5.
Okay. I'm also giving it a 1.5. That 0.5 is for the song and for Miss Ungermeyer.
Yes.
That's really all of, they combined their powers together, combined to get that extra half a point, because I have no desire to watch this again. And
let's be specific. Mrs. Ungermeyer pulling out that extendable American flag to guide students through a post 9/11 Rome. That is what really tipped it over the edge.
Love it.
And with that, your life has now forever been changed by another episode of Honey, We Made a Disney Podcast.
Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your other favorite podcasts. And while you're there, please leave us a 5-star review or share it with your best friend.
You can also check us out at honeywemade.com, where you can see our full movie list as we continue to go through all the Disney movies from 1988 to 2005, including next week as we review Finding Nemo.
Thank you for listening, and remember, this is what dreams are made of.